All right, I'm here with Amber Leibrock fighting Larissa Pacheco, the champ, on June 16th, PFL 5. I want to get to that fight, but I want to start with, first of all, how does it feel to go viral?
It feels cool. It feels pretty good. I didn't realize like the sports center top 10 thing. I didn't really realize that that was like such a big deal, and everyone was like, "No, like that was like a huge deal, like, athletes, like that's a milestone." So, it was pretty cool. It was really really cool. It was nice to see all the hard work kind of come full circle, and it was nice. It was nice.
In a way, you kind of look at it and go, hey, I've been doing my thing all along, and you guys are just noticing now.
Absolutely. I've been a professional for 8 years. I've been a featherweight the whole time. I've never been lower. I've never been higher. I've always felt like this was my division. And it's nice to kind of, finally be at the table and have my name out there. No one's been speaking it for this whole time. So now everyone knows like I'm here, and I'm ready and I can fight. And yeah, it's nice. It's really cool.
Like you said, you've been a pro for a while. You fought for Invicta. You fought for Bellator. How nice is it to have another option that features the women's featherweight division now and that puts some serious money on the line?
I think it's amazing, for the longest time, like featherweights just haven't really been getting the love or the recognition that I feel like we deserve. And now that PFL, they did the lightweight thing, and I was like, oh gosh, now another one. Like featherweights are just getting passed up again. And then when they put out this featherweight season, I was like, oh my God, like this is exactly what the division needs. And I think that every woman that fights in the featherweight division is not just fighting for themselves, we're fighting to keep this division alive. And it's really cool what PFL is doing and like getting us paid. And it's really exciting to be a part of.
Well, it's fantastic to hear, fantastic to see. You've got a big fight now, like I mentioned, with the champion. What was your reaction to that booking? And do you feel that's kind of, you had the highlight reel knockout, so you figure the PFL wants to capitalize on that?
I was excited. I loved it. I loved the matchup. Like as soon as I seen it, it's exactly what I've been wanting. I want to prove I'm the best in the world, and the only way to do that is to fight the best in the world. People can cherry pick fights all day, but that's not me. That's not how I've ever gotten down. I've always fought like some of the biggest names from start to finish, and yeah, I was excited for it. I'm up for the task, and I really, believe in myself, and I'm fully confident that I can go in there and get my hand raised. I think it's going to be a beautiful fight. I think it's going to be a war. I think that, it's gonna be fight of the night, and I think it's exactly like stylistically like a great fight for her and I. And I'm a huge fan of Larissa, and I'm excited to share the cage with her.
I've covered the PFL for years, and I've asked fighters this question numerous times, and you get different answers. But how much does the points factor play into your preparation for these fights? And going into this second fight, your first overall in the division, does that give you a little confidence boost? And just knowing that that safety net is there, chances are you can make the postseason even with a decision.
No, I have no safety net, and I think that, no one's spot is guaranteed, even though I do have 6 points. I'm going to go in there and fight like it's the first fight, like I have zero, and I'm fighting for that top spot again. I love the point system. I love this kind of like, format that PFL has. I think it's super exciting. And for me, I never trained for the 6 points. I trained just to be able to have a 3 round war, which is exactly what I'm doing again. Like, yes, a finish is going to be great. If do I see it? Yes, I see a finish at all angles, but I also know that Larissa Pacheco is no joke. She's the champ for a reason. She's been doing this a long time. She has triple the amount of fights I do, and I'm not looking past it at all. And I'm expecting us to go 3 rounds, points or whatever. For me, it's just about getting my hand raised on June 16th.
3 rounds or not, the playoffs are going to arrive probably in August. And I'm curious about your thoughts on the schedule because that is a very compressed time frame. But then again, over the past few years, I think you've just fought once a year, and I imagine you would be happy being a little more busy.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I fought back to back. Like, honestly, when I went pro, I was part of a tournament and the amateurs that got me my Invicta contract. And we kind of fought similar. It was like 2 or 3 fights, like back to back. And it's pretty exciting. And I'm more than happy to stay active. Obviously, I took no damage in the first round. So getting back into this camp's been pretty easy. And whether I have a hard fight or an easy fight on June 16th, like I think that physically and I'll be all good for August. And yeah, I love it. I love it. I love fighting this many times in a year. It's like there's no downtime, whereas like sometimes when you fight once, like you don't know when the next one's going to happen. You kind of get depressed. I always call it the after fight depression, win or lose. And you're like, God, I don't know when my next paycheck's coming. I don't know when this, I don't know that they're going to fight. And I'm a featherweight. So there's not like a lot of matchups. And then PFL is like, boom, we're going to give you automatic 2, 3, 4 a year. Like, let's go. I'm for it. I love it.
Well, I love to hear it. You mentioned the amateur tournament. I believe that was the Tough Enough tournament back in the day that you won to get your foot in the door with Invicta. When you look at, how you started out all those years ago to where you've come, can you kind of put into words the journey that you've been on?
It's been a roller coaster. I was a last minute replacement for that tournament. I think I came in on a week's notice and, I finished Pam Sorensen, went through 3 rounds with Paola, ended up, fighting Marina, had this really good, like, kind of momentum going. And then, ran into some trouble with Megan. And then obviously when I went to Bellator, I ran into some more trouble. So I've been to the highest, or not yet the highest high, because the championship will be the highest of highs, but I've been pretty high in the sport. I've obviously been to the lowest part, and it's definitely been a roller coaster of a journey, but I've loved every minute of it. Every minute of it has been much needed. I wouldn't be the person I am today or the fighter I am today if my journey wasn't the way that it's been. And I wouldn't change it for the world. I've been in the cage with some of the best. I've been in the best organizations, and now I'm here with PFL, and it just all feels like it's right, and that it's all happened for a reason.
You know, you get your start in that amateur tournament, your start, so to speak, with the Invicta contract on the line. Now you're in a tournament again, $1 million on the line. I know you don't want to look past Larissa, and for good reason, but have you thought about that kind of money, winning that kind of money, and what you'd be able to do with that?
Yeah, like that's a huge driving factor in this all. That's the amount of money I've never had in my life. I come from a poorer place, a poorer family. So being able to be financially stable and financially not worried will be amazing, and it will definitely be something that I can show my brothers and everyone where I come from, like we could do it. It doesn't matter, like the cards in front of us. I would never look past Larissa, but obviously like knowing that there's $1 million at the end of this is like a huge driving factor, and it's definitely the reason why I'm able to go in there, and I'm going to fight my heart out. I'm going to go in there and give it everything I've got. I'm not overlooking anybody, but I'm also not overlooking myself. And I know that I have all the skills and abilities to go in there and get my hand raised, not just on June 16th, but in August and in those finals.
Well, looking forward to that. Before we circle back to the fight, I want to ask you, we've touched on that Tough Enough tournament, but how did you get into mixed martial arts originally? What brought you into the sport?
I was dating somebody who was a professional fighter, and they kind of got me into the gym. And I was like an alcoholic. I was a partier. I didn't do any kind of sports. So I was pretty unhealthy. And I was just trying to kind of like get into shape. But I was also a super aggressive person, and I had like a lot of demons and just a lot of things going on in my life. So when I started training, I started actually doing jujitsu. I started grappling first. And a lot of people, think that I'm just a striker, but actually, I've been grappling longer than anything else. Grappling was super natural to me. And I just started competing. I started winning, started choking girls out, won worlds at white belt, placed third at blue belt. I was in the gi, some Nagas. I'd come out with 3 gold medals, and I was like, wow, like I'm doing really well here. So let's, take it up a notch. Let's go ahead and let's fight. Like, let's try this. Like, let's test myself in the hardest sport in the world. And that's what I did. And that's kind of just how it all blossomed. It was pretty much a snowball effect. And fighting saved my life. And it also kind of fell in my lap. And when it was something that I realized that could change my life for the better, I was like, I can't pass this up. Quit drinking, quit partying, quit doing drugs, and just engulfed my life in fighting.
Well, I love hearing the positive stories. I love hearing how much it's helped you. Circling back to this fight, Larissa Pacheco, obviously, we know her as both the champ and the woman who beat Kayla Harrison. What are you expecting to see from her in this fight? How do you see this playing out?
I expect a war. I expect her to come out and do her game. She's got she does the same thing every fight. She's a power puncher. She has no problem grappling. She has no problem trying to take it to the ground. Obviously, she's been doing this for a couple years now, and she's at the top of the mountain. I'm the one at the bottom of the mountain trying to make my way up. And Kayla was a hard task for her, but that was at 155 pounds. We're now down at 45, and I don't have a hard cut. I don't, kill myself to make weight. I stay pretty healthy. I stay pretty close. And I'm super strong. I don't think that I'm getting the respect I deserve. I think that all these girls are looking past me, and that's a mistake. That's a huge mistake, because I believe in myself 100%, and I'm going to go in there and do everything I can to get my hand raised. And I know that she's going to do the same. So I think it's going to be a beautiful fight. I think that it's going to be fight of the night. I think we steal the show, and I'm excited, and I'm super honored to be able to be in there with somebody like her.
Well, I definitely agree. It's a danger to look past you. You proved that with the head kick. You proved that on a 4-fight win streak as well. And I'll ask you this one before I let you go. I mean, what do you attribute the recent success to? 4 straight wins, that big finish. Where's this all coming from? What's gotten everything clicking?
Training like a professional, being super accountable with myself, putting myself in tough positions, not just winning, putting myself in positions where I'm not winning on the mats. I train with a lot of dudes. I train with some of the best people in the world, and they don't take it easy on me. And also my mentality, which was something that I really work hard on. I work with a hypnotherapist. His name's Richard Hart. I mean, I've worked with some of the best sports psychologists in the world ever since my skid in Bellator. But right now I'm with Richard Hart, and he's a hypnotherapist, and he's really just got my mind like switched on. Self-belief is all of it. Confidence is all of it. Really believing in my training and my abilities. And I think that that is what's been able to get me to go super, super far, which is in Bellator. It kind of wasn't like that. Like, I didn't really feel I belonged there yet. I didn't really believe in myself. But right now, like physically, mentally, spiritually, I'm in the best shape I've ever been in. And I'm fully, fully, fully switched on and locked in and ready for this.
Well, love to hear it. Amber, thanks again for the time today.
Of
Looking
course.
forward to the
Thank you.
fight. PFL 5, you against Larissa Pacheco, June 16th. Best of luck.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Have a great day.
Okay. You too. Bye bye.